Welcome to the Crunch McDabbles show. I'm your host, Crunch McDabbles. This is the only show where we design a fantasy RPG character, build a character using Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules, and then destroy it in our impossible test dungeon. Today we're building the Elf Ranger. I have a good feeling about this Ranger build. I think he's going to do well in the test dungeon, so let's see how he does. He may have started out as a typical elf, a carefree child of the woods, but there was a trigger at some point in his life, an event so long ago that few remember, and those that do refuse to speak on it. All accounts agree on one thing. Our elf was exiled from his lands and people, but rather than starting out new in a new land, he instead forsook all people and disappeared into the wild. Years passed, just the twinkling of an eye to an elf. Long days and long dark nights in the deep parts of the wild where few would have the skill to tread, much less survive. But survive he did. With the passing years, he became so feral, so dirty and moss-covered, that he literally became a part of the wild itself. This made him patient, cunning, vigilant, the perfect predator. But this predator has a dark past and a murderous soul. This is the exiled hunter. Okay, let's build a Pathfinder 2nd Edition character. We start with a clean slate and set all ability scores to 10. In other words, wipe the chalkboard clean. We're going to add templates for Ancestry, Background, and Class, which each add flavors and abilities to the character, sort of like adding a different filter to a picture. So starting with our Ancestry template, we choose Elf. Elf gives us a +2 ability boost to Dexterity and Intelligence, and a -2 ability flaw to Constitution. It also gives us a free ability boost to put where we like. Our Elf Ancestry also gives us 6 hit points. We're size medium, and we have a 30-foot movement speed. The 30-foot movement speed is faster than other Ancestries, which is a cool feature of the Elf, and fits our character both mechanically and thematically, as our Elf Hunter moves quickly to track down prey. Within Ancestry, we get to choose a heritage, which more specifically defines what type of elf we are. We're going to make this a Whisper Elf to fit our Silent Hunter theme. The Whisper Elf is finely tuned and able to detect even the slightest whispers and sound. Mechanically, this doubles the range that you can detect hidden creatures using the Seek action. Usually it's a 30-foot cone, now it's doubled to a 60-foot cone. Included with each Ancestry are Ancestry feats, and we get to choose one at level 1. We took Nimble Elf. His muscles are tightly honed, giving him another +5 feet to movement, bringing his movement speed up to 35 feet. We fill in our Ancestry info on our character sheet and move on to Background. Your background is what your character did before becoming an adventurer. This character was a hunter. Hunter gives him an ability boost to either Dex or Wisdom, and then a free ability boost. The Hunter background also gives us 2 skills we are trained in, Survival and Tanning Lore. We also get the skill feat Survey Wildlife. You can study details in the wilderness to determine the presence of nearby creatures. And that's pretty much it for background, short and sweet. Moving on to class, we choose Ranger. This gives us an ability boost to either Strength or Dexterity. We also get the Ranger hit points, which is 10 per level. That's pretty solid. The Ranger class gives us a bunch of proficiencies. We are Expert in Perception, we get Expert in Fortitude and Reflex saving throws, and are trained in Will saving throws. We are trained in the Survival and Nature skills, as well as trained in 4 additional skills we get to choose. We are trained in Simple and Martial weapons, unarmed attacks, as well as light and medium armor. Each class has class features. The staple feature of the Ranger class is Hunt Prey, which we get at level 1. This allows us to use an action in combat to mark an enemy as prey, and then get bonuses and use special attacks against them. The first level we choose a Hunter's Edge to decide what kinds of special abilities or attacks we want against our hunted prey. We choose Flourish, which, when making multiple attacks against the marked prey, the second attack has only a -3 penalty instead of a -5, and the third attack only has a -6 penalty instead of -10. We get a Ranger feat at level 1. We took Hunted Shot. Hunted Shot allows us to take 2 shots with 1 action against our hunted prey target. The penalty still applies if you had used 2 actions, so -3 on the second shot, but it still only uses 1 action. Okay, those are our character selections. Let's finalize this character, starting with the ability score breakdown. We start out with all 10s for each ability. For Ancestry, Elf, we automatically get +2 to Dexterity and Intelligence and a -2 ability flaw to Constitution. But we also get a free ability boost, which we will put right back into Constitution since our Elf is hardy from surviving in the wild. We add +2 to Dexterity and Constitution from our background. We get +2 to Dexterity for our Ranger class, and we get 4 free ability boosts just for being, I guess, who we are. I don't know, they're free. We put +2 into Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, and Strength. That gives us our final ability scores of Strength 12, Dexterity 18, Constitution 14, Intelligence 12, Wisdom 12, and Charisma 10. For hit points we have 6 from Ancestry, 10 from class, and 2 from our Constitution for a total of 18 hit points. Next we need to buy some gear to survive and to calculate our AC, so we buy some things. This character doesn't need or want much, so he buys a longbow, 40 arrows, leather armor, 2 short swords, a dagger, and that's it. He has 2 short swords on his belt, both of them on his left hip, and his dagger goes on his right hip, and that's all he needs. He's good to go. So for armor class, we have 10 + 1 for the leather armor, +4 for the dexterity, and +3 for being trained in light and medium armors, for a total of AC 18. Solid. Saving throws end up at Fortitude 7, Reflex 9, and Will Save only 4, so a whole person might be a problem. Skills we are trained in are Perception, Survival, Nature, and Tanning Lore. We also get to choose 4 more skills because of our Ranger class, so we choose Stealth, Medicine, Crafting, and Athletics. We would take a -1 to Athletics and Stealth for wearing leather armor, but we meet the armor's strength threshold of 10, so we can ignore the armor check penalty to strength and dexterity checks. And there you have it. That is our character, the Exiled Hunter, using Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules. Let's find out what kind of metal this character has and see if he can survive the overwhelming odds in our test dungeon. A long forgotten temple. You creep quietly down the crumbled steps, long overtaken by the weeds and undergrowth, and creep into the darkness below. The stairs lead into a large chamber, occupied by 4 goblins, passing the time engaged in some bizarre bellicose game. It's time for those 3 magic words that everyone wants to hear. Roll for initiative. It's 20 + 7, 27 initiative for the Exiled Hunter. And 12 + 2, so 14 for the goblins. So the ranger is stealthed against the goblins. He beat the goblins' DC of 12 with the stealth roll initiative of 27. So he's unobserved. These goblins are flat-footed to him right now. He's going to take, without marking a prey first, his first shot, a ranged attack at this goblin on the far side. First, the goblin's AC is 16. that's -2, so it's actually 14. So that's 9 plus 7 is 16, so that's a hit. For 2 damage. Then for the second action, he's going to mark the prey on that one he shot one time and take the double shot action he has. That'll be two shots at that one he's already damaged. And since it's marked as prey, it'll be -3 and -6. So the first one's definitely going to miss, and the second one's definitely going to miss. So that's 2 misses. And that is his round. Okay, the Goblin Warriors get to go. And this Goblin is going to step up 10, 15, 20 feet in there. He's going to draw his short bow, and since he ended a movement right there, then his Goblin Warrior allies get to take a reaction and take a 5-foot step. This one will go here. This one will go here. As a second action, he's going to pull his short bow out and arm that, ready that, and fire an arrow at the ranger. So that's 9 plus 8 is 17, so that's going to miss. This Goblin's going to pull out his short bow and then move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to right there and take his shot with the short bow. Was trying to go to 20, but it landed on 13 plus 8 is going to be 21, so that's going to be a hit. So that will do a d6 damage. Yikes, 5 damage. So that hurts. Then these two goblins are going to brandish their dog slicer swords and move up 5, 15, 20, 25, and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 2 actions. And they're just going to move right up since they have a bow out on the ranger. They'll use their final moves to get to there. So the ranger, finding himself in a pickle here, is going to move his great movement speed is 35 feet. He's going to move 5, 15, 20, 30, 35. He'll move to right there. Whoosh. Those goblins are like, wah. And then he'll take a shot at his hunted prey there, and he'll use his hunted shot ability to take 2 shots. So the first one is the normal, and the second one is at minus 3. So the first one is 4 plus 7 is 11. That will miss. And the second one, 18 minus 3 is 15 plus 7 is 22. So that's going to hit. And we'll get a D8 of damage out of that. One damage. So let's hit that one twice now. If we're in 4th edition, it would be bloodied. But we're not. He still has one more attack, so he's going to shoot his 3rd attack. He did the long move and then the hunted shot, and then for the 3rd attack he'll just do a regular attack at minus 6 against the same target. Yikes, he just can't buy a break now. He started out with a great initiative and now he is struggling. That'll end the ranger's turn. Okay, the goblins get to go, and they're steaming mad trying to defend their territory. This little goblin is going to just keep firing arrows as quick as he can now. He's got his short bow out, and he's going to just attack 3 times, fire 3 arrows. The first one at normal, plus 8. The second one at minus 5, and the third one at minus 10. The first one is going to be a 26 to hit, almost crits. The second one is going to be a 6 plus 8 is 14, minus 5 is 9. That'll miss, and the second one is definitely going to miss. So we got 1 hit out of that though. For 2 damage. This goblin, who's been hit twice now with the arrows, though not very badly, is going to fire in the same fashion, just start unloading arrows. So the first one's a 5. That's going to miss. The second one is an 18 plus 8 is 26 minus 5 is 21, so that's going to hit. And the third one is 14 plus 8 is 22 minus 10 is 12, so that's going to miss. So we do get 1 hit in there with an arrow, small short bow arrow, but still 6 damage. Hero is down to 5 hit points, and that's pretty rough. The other goblins that have their dog slicers out are just going to chase after this guy, so they're going to start running. 5, 15, 20, 25. 1 move, that's pretty good. Yeah, and then he'll take 2 attacks with his dog slicer. First one normal and the second one at minus 5. So the first one's 16 plus 8 is 24. That's going to hit. Dog Slicer does a D6 slash damage. The second one doesn't hit. Oop, that was a D8. Hold on a sec. Five more damage, exactly how many hit points he had. And that will put him at 0 and knock him unconscious and take him out of this combat. So that was the Ranger's combat. Didn't go his way that time. But you know, funeral arrangements will be made. Get out of our temple and stay out.